Welcome to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
Always a pleasure to host with you.
It is, my friend. It's a great privilege and honor to be sitting next to you.
Likewise. And again, for those of you who are watching, if you're watching in the month of September, Dr. Moore's birthday month. September.
I'm grateful to be here, man.
Yeah. We're grateful to have you here.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank our sponsors.
Yeah, Lee Crossett and Crawley, Fervent Care Christian Academy, Marion County Public Health Department, Indianapolis Healthy Start Safe Sleep Program. Get involved with what's going on with Marion County Health Department. We have a lot of things going on this month, Infant Mortality Awareness Month. Be a part of that right here in our city.
And I want to encourage you to go to YouTube. And you go to WHMB TV 40's YouTube page or site and become a subscriber there. You can watch this show or other shows that you might have missed.
Yeah, and like us on
Facebook.
My God, yes. I want you to connect with us so we can connect with you.
Yeah, we appreciate you all taking the time to watch each week on Friday nights at 9:30 and on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Thank you so much for being regular viewers. We'll be back here in just a moment with our first guest. Don't go away. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're joined by John Turner, also known as Professor JT.
That's it.
Thank you for being here with us.
Pastor Jackson, Pastor Moore, it's an honor. Thank God
you,
so much for this opportunity. And happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Professor. You're looking good. I like your trademark, man. Open your shirt so we can see the trademark, the sunglasses.
Yes, sir. It's all about make school cool. That's what I'm here to do.
So how did this concept come about?
Well, being born and raised from Indianapolis, Indiana myself, Bishop Chatard High School. Honestly, I graduated from high school with 2.2 GPA. I wanted to go to University of Notre Dame. Nobody told me University of Notre Dame costs a lot of money, and I wanted to play football. Not the biggest guy to be playing football up there, but the thing was, nobody really told me how to get to college. And so now, being a professor myself, Ivy Tech Community College, also working on my doctorate, Urban Education Studies, IUPUI.
Congratulations.
Keep praying for me, Pastor. Praying for me now. I said, man, we need somebody out there that's really going to be an advocate for our students, and that's what I try to be. I want to go back, reach back, pull people up. It's a miracle I made it through school. I'll be flat out honest, it's a miracle. But I want to make sure that others that look like us.
What was your grade point, 2.2?
2.2.
What was the turning point?
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to know.
Just getting into college. Just having an opportunity, because a lot of times students don't know when you're able to go to college, everything starts over for you. It's a brand new opportunity for you. GPA starts over everything.
Where'd you undergrad at?
Indiana State University. Got my bachelor's and master's from there. So I went from 2.2 high school GPA. My very first semester in college at Indiana State University, I had a 3.3. That foundation, you have to set that foundation from the beginning, and that opened up the door for me. That was my turning point.
Yeah. That's amazing. College, high school was high school.
That's right. That's right.
But college was your turning point.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's amazing.
That's it.
You know what? Professor, I hear all the time that there's a lot of grant money out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But there's a lot of grant money that goes undiscovered or unclaimed or every year.
That's correct.
And those are millions and millions of dollars that lie in escrow accounts that are not able to get to reach students for various reasons. How do you combat that issue?
Yes. So the biggest thing we have to realize is not only is there grant money, scholarship money, fellowship opportunities for students, a lot of times we're the last ones to know about it, people that look like us. And so it's doing that research online, making sure you're looking at each college and university, see what they have available, but also looking at great opportunities like CICF here in the state of Indiana that gives opportunities for students of color as well to get money. So it's always saying, look, I know you guys have the money, these endowments that these schools have, millions of dollars. They have the opportunities there, but we have to be able to tap into them.
Yes, sir. So when you talk about making school cool, How are you going about doing that?
So biggest thing of my brand I try to make sure I do as the Professor JT LLC is make sure that students know their opportunities no matter what, whether if it's admissions getting into school, whether if it's knowing those funding opportunities, but also going back to where it used to be fun to go to school. We got kids that are so scared to go to school now. We have today, in fact, National Suicide Prevention Day, where students are going through so much mentally that we have to be able to say, look, we just need you to be able to go to school. But we have to realize there's so many systematic things that are there. A lot of times we don't realize and remember there were times we couldn't go to some of these schools as African Americans, people of color. So we have to really get into a lot of these systems that necessarily weren't built for us, but we can engage and help students be able to get past those things. Also, we try to help our educators. I just had a great event called the Educators Brunch just a couple weeks ago, where we just got educators together just to talk about what's really going on in education. So many teachers start out teaching. Within a year, they're out of teaching. Well, why? Because they're teaching students who are going through so many things that they can't deal with. They're going into places to teach that they're not supported. So in my brand, I try to help out with those opportunities as well to help educators even be better.
So you do a lot of consulting as well?
Much consulting. And big time consulting as well as helping students get to those master's and doctorate degrees that they may be looking to do as well.
And Professor, there was some legislation that Indiana had with regard to making sure we have more minority teachers, particularly black males. How can your organization help Indiana make that mark?
Yeah, so I have the great honor of teaching at Ivy Tech Community College. We teach a great class called IVYT 111 focus course for African American and black males. So what we started to see is not only in this particular class, which is like your intro to college class, but also progressing through Ivy Tech Community College that these black males weren't persisting. So we put them in a class together so we can start to talk about topics and different things that they're going through in their lives that help them realize they can have the opportunity to do this. So even with that legislation in place, we can start to talk to the people who want to be teachers and educators like myself and say, you can have this opportunity to do it, and it's something we're bringing to light. A lot of times, people don't even know teaching's an option. You see all these teachers out here, but the problem is they don't look like us. So now we can have this course and say, you know, you can go into teaching. You can be a professor. Now, it's not necessarily something when a kid comes out of high school saying, oh, this is an opportunity, but it can happen. And what a lot of people don't realize, too, is you can get a doctorate in anything. There's so many different things you can get doctorates in. We try to tell our students about those, too, so they can have opportunities. Doctorate in engineering, social work, all those different areas, psychology. We want to make sure that people know they have options.
And certainly that's very, very important. When we start talking about the challenges that a lot of our young people are facing in college, talk about some of the challenges and how students can overcome those.
Yes. Biggest thing we're looking at is that mental health, that social emotional. You know, how can I get through school, even though I have the scholarships, even though I came through high school and I'm intelligent, but I'm dealing with things that I've never faced before, being away from home, dealing with a breakup, dealing with those financial aid things, the things at the college and university level that sometimes our students don't know about. So it's making sure we let our students know even before they get to college, these are some things you might face, but just know you have support. And that's a lot what I do with my brand as well, to make sure they have that support while they're through college. Easy check-ins like, hey, how are you doing? Sending an email, a phone call. And then when they come home for breaks, having them something to do. Because a lot of times they're coming home for breaks and they're kind of bored. There's nothing to do, but the learning can continue. Or they can do volunteer opportunities, get involved with the city and community.
Outstanding. So scholarship money, and was that the way that you were able to get through it?
College myself?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I had to work. I worked on campus, and that's an option that a lot of times that students don't realize, too. You can work on campus, get a campus job. There's work-study opportunities. Also, doing different things where you're working and being able to give back through that work, volunteer opportunities, different things like that. Sometimes those can get paid for as well. But the blessing is the scholarships came. And so that's what we want to tell students, too. Just because you get to college, there's still money out there. One of the biggest blessings I had was just going to class. I had an 8 in the morning class. just showing up every week. Every week. This was a fall semester class. By the spring semester, in my mailbox, I had a scholarship for $2,500. I went back to the professor and said, why did you give me this scholarship? He said, just the fact because you showed up every class. Little stuff like that we have to realize, especially as people of color. One, unless it's probably at HBCU, a lot of these PWIs, predominantly white institutions, a lot of us aren't there, but people are paying attention to us.
Right.
And so we want to make sure as they're paying attention to us that we're doing our work, because what are we doing? We're making that school look good. So a lot of times they, hey, why don't you be in this diversity commercial we have, or be in our publicity? So now they want to put that good face, who is a great student, who looks like us, in a lot of their publicity, a lot of their publications. But guess what? You're going to have to pay me some money to be in that too, because you're using me as a brand.
So they can help you with a scholarship.
There you go. There you go.
Well, Professor JT, thank you.
Man,
You've been a great guest.
You did good, Professor.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
We got more to come. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. We're joined now by Miss Takara Mallard.
Yes.
She's volunteer coordinator, Families First.
Yes.
Thanks
Nice
for
to
being
be
here.
Thank you, thank you.
Volunteers,
Yes.
not easy to come by.
No, not at all.
How are you all dealing with that?
You know, it's really interesting. Our volunteers are being pushed and pulled in a million directions. Not only do you have your home life, but you have your professional life as well. And then you have to make a decision about which types of organizations that you're going to serve. So we're trying really hard to meet them where they're at. So we do a lot of social media ads. We're running a commercial now. And then, of course, we do a lot of Google AdWords, trying to get people to use the right words to find us online when they're doing searches. Because most people, they're pretty altruistic. They're going online and they're saying, how can I help? And they're searching those key phrases, and we're trying to catch them when they're searching for us.
Tell us what you offer.
Absolutely. So at Families First, we're a nonprofit social services agency. We've been around since 1835, and all of our volunteer programs match our service program areas. So we actually have a volunteer opportunity where you can answer calls on our 24-hour crisis line. You can volunteer to facilitate support groups for domestic violence and sexual assault programs. Or you can provide childcare for those groups as well, to remove the barrier of childcare for some of those men and women who are trying to attend.
So you're a wraparound service group.
Yes. We have a wide array of programs, and I think that's what makes us unique in the city. So every member of the family, from the smallest child doing play therapy, from an adult or a couple doing individual counseling, we have something for everybody.
And how much time is usually involved when it comes to, let's say I say, well, I'm going to be a volunteer. How much time minimal or minimum amount of time is expected?
Absolutely. That really does depend. We have programs where the touch point is one program day a year, like our holiday program, Give a Wrap, where you're wrapping presents for individuals living in mental health facilities. That's one Saturday morning. Or if you have a little bit more time on your hands, you can answer calls on our crisis line, and that's about 2 4-hour shifts a week being on call.
Where are you located?
We are in just north of downtown Indianapolis on Meridian Street.
Okay.
Public interest meetings.
Yes.
What are those all about?
Those are really exciting. We actually just started doing those. Fun fact, again, founded in 1835 by a group of volunteers. I'm the organization's first full-time volunteer coordinator.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And our public interest meetings are new as well. So we do them once a month, one at noon, one at 6, trying to be flexible. And during that meeting, we have all of the program supervisors there, and we try to answer questions as best of our ability about training, commitment, our rewards programs, how do we support folks, as well as giving some concrete examples of the process of becoming a volunteer.
That's outstanding, and folks might be wondering if they have to have experience in order to be a volunteer.
Yes. You don't have to have any experience. We just ask that you care. We honestly can teach you the rest.
You can do whatever needs to be done.
Anything that needs to be done, as long as you care and have the time commitment. We'll teach you everything else.
Tell us about the safe volunteer culture.
Absolutely. So at Families First, our volunteer programs are pretty unique in that you're dealing with some pretty heady topics: domestic violence, sexual assault, crisis and suicide intervention, and it's our first priority to take care of the mental and emotional health of our volunteers. So we like to do check-ins. We offer opportunities for volunteers to come together and discuss their experiences. And we also are very flexible. So if a volunteer comes to us and says, hey, I need to take a break, we're more than willing to offer that. We want to keep our volunteers, so keeping them fresh and safe and mentally agile is important for us. So we love breaks and we love self-care.
That's good.
Yeah.
Self-care and breaks.
Yes.
We can all use those.
Yeah, in life in general. Some deep breathing too.
Yeah. Takara, how did you get involved with volunteerism and being so passionate? I perceive you have a great passion for this.
That's a great question. My first job out of college was I was a AmeriCorps Vista with the Corporation for National and Community Service. So instead of going abroad like during the Peace Corps, I served here, well, not in Florida, but I served nationally, and I worked with a group who was trying to end cyclical homelessness in Central Florida. And I began recruiting volunteers and sharing the mission and vision of this organization. And before, I thought I was going to go in a whole other career direction, but with this experience, I was like, this is what I want. I want to expand my reach into the community and show people that it's so easy to give back. As long as you can care, you can really be taught the rest. And from there, one nonprofit experience after the other, cultivating volunteers, sharing our experiences, doing community outreach. It's a passion for sure.
And I like that, cultivating volunteers.
Yes.
Of course, we're into the business of getting volunteers and cultivating.
It's hard though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean it's hard. But
it's hard.
It's hard. It's difficult.
Okay, you all looked at me when I said it was hard, though, to suggest that it was relatively easy to do.
But what's causing that, though? I mean, you're looking at this all the time. It's your business. What's causing that? Because people used to be more amenable to getting involved.
I know you're asking her the
volunteering.
question. It's a heart change. I really think the hearts of people are not like the heart you hear here today anymore. Because to volunteer means that I'm volunteering, I'm not getting paid, I'm not getting any benefits. I'm doing it because, as you suggested, as a passion. And if it's a passion, you want to meet those needs, and you want to be able to use your passion in the right areas. Maybe you can address that differently than I can.
No, I do agree, because we've had to shift the conversation when it comes to volunteer recruitment, cultivating volunteers. And before it was, how can you be of service to us? How can you be of service to an organization like Families First? But now we really have to say, like, how does this benefit you? We've had to change our language. Again, these folks are being pushed and pulled in a million directions, so we really do have to say, how is this good for you? So we say, our training is professional development. There's a networking opportunity. You're going to make a difference in someone's life. We can't come to volunteers and say, we need you, because that's overwhelming for folks. Their kids need them, their jobs need them, their spouses and partners need them. So we say, this is what we can do for you. So we've had to change the way we talk about it.
That's what I think, Jack. I think the hearts of humanity have changed to where we resist really loving one another the way we should love one another. And that's why when you see people stepping out on limbs to volunteer to help people, and to a lot of them, what is he or she doing out there? I mean, well, they don't understand that person might have an innate passion to volunteer for various in certain situations.
Selfless service.
Selfless service. That's what Kingdom is all about.
So Takara, you had a 1-minute elevator speech to get volunteers right into that camera.
All right, here we go. So for all of those folks that are interested in mental health and ending the stigma around getting help, I want you to go to familiesfirstindiana.org and click on that button that says volunteer. There are a list of program areas that you can volunteer for, or you can even just submit an interest form and I'll talk to you directly, help quell some of those fears or anxieties that you have about volunteering. Our next volunteer interest meeting is October 8th. There's a session at 12 and a session at 6. We'll provide the snacks and all the information. You just got to show up and care. We'll show you the rest.
That was good.
Yeah, she's a dynamic face for
and voice
for Families First.
Yeah,
they got the right person.
Thank you so much for having us.
I would have her come by Sunday and do that with the congregation.
Yeah,
you know.
I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to.
Yeah. Come on by.
Yes,
we got some people who they ask me all the time, I'm sure they ask you,
Yeah.
what can I do more to help? And a lot of times they're talking about working in the church, usher, greeter, but I tell them the real ministry is outside the church.
Right.
Amen.
And maybe they could connect with you all.
Yes, some strong men and women
Right.
who want to facilitate and share their kindness with others outside the walls of a church. Amazing.
Come on by.
Yes, sir.
10:30.
All right.
Come on by. 10:30 this Sunday.
All righty.
Love you all. Thank you. You've been a great guest.
Been an
Thank you so
outstanding
much.
guest. Thank you.
We've got the rundown. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Real People, Real Voices. I'm your host, James Jackson.
I'm your co-host, Dr. Wayne Moore.
And I'm your executive producer, Faith McKinney.
I like the way you say that.
Thank you so
You
much.
say
I really
that with,
appreciate-
with lots of panache.
Yeah, well, I try to be professional when I have to be professional. I enjoy, I enjoy what I do. I mean, there's a lot of other things I'd like to see go better, but I enjoy this tremendously,
Yeah.
talking with the community, making sure they have the correct information. The brother that just left.
The professor.
The professor.
Professor JT.
JT, he's the coolest professor I've seen. Trademark, his brand is representative of sunglasses.
Being cool.
Being cool in school.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
He enjoys school. I never met anyone who just loves learning like he does.
Well, I guess when you go to college with a 2.2 grade point average, and after the first year you come up with a 3.3, it really suggests that you enjoy it. Now he's on his way to becoming a professor, and he's
a professor, a doctor.
a doctorate.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's already a doctor. So his PhD. So he's doing extremely well. They need to keep him in prayer.
And a young man at that.
Young man at that. Yeah.
So that's very important. I think education is important. And what he was saying about the getting more black male teachers
Right.
in the classroom.
Right.
Studies have proven that,
That's needed.
yeah, it's much needed. And it's law for the state of Indiana.
Yeah. And families first. The young lady that was here.
Very
Articulate.
She
very
got the face and voice inflection
Yeah.
for raising money and getting volunteers.
All right, she's on it.
She's good.
She's on her way somewhere.
She's got the heart for it.
She has the heart for it. She loves people. And to be a volunteer, you got to love people.
That's right.
You're doing it and not getting paid. And that's why some people need to learn how to respect that.
Yeah. And she hit that elevator speech right away.
Didn't she? She went right
Didn't
to
have
it.
to think about it. Smart.
She loves what she does, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for being part of the show and the first what we do here, and for TV40 family. We certainly appreciate
Yeah, our
them.
brothers who are working the cameras.
Cameramen.
I
And the
wish
folks
people-
in the truck.
Yeah, I wish the people could see Colin Kaepernick is with us today. He couldn't get a job with the Indianapolis Colts, so we gave him
a great
camera
lookalike.
job.
A great lookalike.
Yeah, he does. We got to put him on camera so people can see Colin.
Okay, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching.
God bless your spirit.
Bye.